Yo, 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 y'all, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Mike in the building. Swish for real. How you living? I got my co-host with me, Boogie Boogie. What's up with you, Boogie? How you living, man?
MFFS strong. We got the ninth. We got the ninth pick. Hopefully we get one of those premium point guards.
Now, facts. How everything on your side of the planet, man? Everything good?
Doing good. Doing good.
Already. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast once again. One of our frequent guests, Coach Mason. What's up with you, man?
What's up, baby? I'm feeling like, one of the team members in here, man.
Hey, you
I
are.
need I need to get me something that I can flash in front of the camera like Boogie Bob, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Get me going.
yeah. Man, it's good to have you back on, man. How things on your side of the planet, man?
Man, real good, real busy right now. Family man right now, but the coaching stuff, it never quits. So just staying busy.
And off camera, you was telling us about the Swin City League that was hosted at North Dallas Gym. Man,
It was we did it the last 2 summers. They're moving this summer. We had some changes in administration and things like that. And so we just decided to hold back on it this summer. But man, it was amazing the last 2 summers. We talked about it off camera, Odyssey Sims and all types of pros coming in there to play, man. And Dallas is full of young talent from over the last few years, and so the gym was loaded up, man. I saw
dang,
everybody from Jalen Tyson, Marcus Smart.
what?
Oh yeah, no, it was some guys in that gym, man. Um, what's my boy that got picked up from the Lakers that played at Gonzaga? Gonzaga,
Gonzaga.
National Player of
Bernard
the Year,
was
National
Luke.
Player of the Year. Played with the Nets last year. Lakers
Man,
this year. Went to Richardson.
you got me, brother.
I got y'all,
Vanderbilt,
man.
is it Vanderbilt?
This man was National Player of the Year. I can't think of his name right now either. It'll come to us as we come on.
Nah, facts and
Well, Casey Wallace played at Richardson.
He played at Richardson.
Yeah,
This particular player played at Pierce.
yeah. Dang,
yeah,
man.
JJ Pierce. That it's always two or three good people. I mean, they changed the conference between JJ Pierce, Lake Highlands, Richardson, and Plano. Of course,
That's
Allen's
right.
always going to have the athletes, but those other
Correct.
three always have.
That's right.
And
We got
Coach
we
Mason,
got
I was
to
gonna
talk
ask you
with
this
one of
too.
your coaches, one of the guys. We got to talk with the Kimball coach.
And that's what I was gonna allude to, because I know we had the Kimball coach on, we had the Carter coach on, we had was it Mansfield Summit coach on. All three of them
No
came on.
way.
Yeah, and we had an
So y'all had
opportunity.
Coach Love, Coach Smith,
Coach
and
Coach,
Mason.
we got Coach Mason,
of
Coach
course,
Love, Coach Smith, and Coach Pritchard.
those guys are legendary guys, man. I don't know that I belong. Those are some champions.
Well,
I
there's a guy when I go to the playoff games that last year I hooked up Paul
Oh,
Miranda, and so
oh,
he
Miranda.
hooked us up with those coaches. He's a talent evaluator, and I'm sure you probably know him, ran into him. Uh, but he was asking Kimball's coach about handing the trophy to the judge, and he teared up. He teared up, man. It got to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You saw with the news on him, correct? Today.
Nuh-uh.
No longer Kimball's coach.
He moved on?
He moved on and I don't know if I should say where he's going, but he did. He posted on his socials. He thanked Kimball, but yeah, new chapter for him. Happy for him. I actually need to text him and congratulate him, man. So
Well,
yeah.
he said
Yeah.
that his brother even coaches, and his brother won a championship.
His
Yeah.
brother is at Madison.
Madison, yeah. And
Correct.
Coach Mason, what were your thoughts to know that there was 9 teams here in the North Texas that won state titles?
I mean, it's no surprise to me. It's the whole reason I moved out here all of those years ago. This is the mecca of high school basketball, and nobody can tell me anything different. And you can look in the NBA right now, and we can just it's a whole nother pod, and we need to do that one pod
Yeah.
just to show some love to some of the talent that comes out of this area. It's really
Hmm.
it's remarkable, and segue, and the player's name is Drew Timmy. That's
Yeah.
who
Oh
Drew
yeah,
Tim.
Drew Timmy. Is that and a
He,
white
Yeah, he
kid?
was on
what?
Milwaukee. He was
Correct.
D League Milwaukee the
He
first
play. He
year.
actually was on the Lakers. Correct, but he was on the Lakers roster last year. Played for the Nets the year before, but again, he was a participant in that Swin City League. So I was seeing guys like that come in there. Jordan Goldwire, who played at Duke. It was just, it's some pros in there, man. It was good ball going on. So
Dang,
we're gonna
I
miss
hate
it,
this
but
no
So
longer.
this wasn't on the run sheet, Coach Mason, but I got to ask you. If the
yes, sir.
athletic director for Kimball High School called you and say, Coach Mason, do you want to be the next head coach at Kimball?
Yeah, no disrespect to Kimball, man, but I'm kind of like you, baby. I'm locked in, man, with the ND, man. It's just it's a
Hey,
different
you
it's
better
a
be.
di-
You better be.
it's a it's not really about wins and losses from me, Boogie. I just
It's
enjoy pouring
family.
into those. It's exactly what it is, man. It's family,
Man, it's
Yeah,
nothing
and
I
like
mean,
North Dallas,
that's a
man.
family in itself, but that's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it is. That's something I'm not worried about. But and I actually enjoy. But no, it's pressure at North Dallas too, man. We've moved into a new district, and they're expecting, and I'm expecting some good things as well this upcoming season.
Well, keeping it on the subject of pressure, um, it's been a lot of issues been going on when it comes to referees, and the Phil Donahue, I guess is it Denny Donahue, that coach who was caught fixing games. And I know it's hard to be a ref, you know what I mean, just to play, especially in the NBA as a ref. I'm gonna ask you this first, Coach Mason. How does referees impact how teams play and win games? What is it that you see as a coach that causes teams to be impacted by some of the decisions that the ref makes? And does it change your pace of play? What are your thoughts on the impact that refs have on the game, if whether good or bad? And just give us the good and then the bad.
Yeah, the element of the referee in any sport, I think, is something that we overlook as fans, but as coaches, it's something we really pay attention to. And the larger the game, the better the ref staff that you want to have, and it is a hard thing to do because it's what you see, what you feel, and
Mm,
I think people don't understand there are mechanics that goes into referee. There's just so much that goes into refereeing, but it does change the way that coaches coach their teams. You
mm,
might be a jump shooting team, but you have a a referee crew that is, you know, letting you play. And so you just decide, hey man, we're just gonna go to the basket and just be physical, be a paint team tonight, man. Refs are gonna swallow their whistles, so on and so forth. So yeah, that dynamic definitely changes everything. But the when we were going through the run sheet, I believe the question was like, do we see a change almost in like today versus what we've seen? And so I did the research and looked up that we're actually in an era where less fouls are called.
mm.
But the gameplay is just so different. And what I mean by that is this is a more spaced out game and perimeter oriented game,
Yeah.
and it's making the referee's job a little more difficult because defenders are still taught the same principles. You're still taught line rules. You're still taught closing out hard, but guess what? Guys shoot the ball a lot better. Guys are shot faking and paint penetrating a lot better. And so now you see a lot more grabbing. You're just seeing a lot more perimeter fouls called, is what you're seeing. And we, as a fan base, we don't really like to see it. And us as coaches, we hate it. I mean, y'all played, it was a cardinal sin to foul a jump shooter back then. And now that's what you're pretty much seeing. And you're seeing shooters manipulate referees and the way that they call the games. But that stuff, honestly, has been going on. It's been a nuance forever. We watched it with Michael's shot fakes and Kobe's shot fakes.
Mhm.
But now you are getting a little more theatrical with some of these guys. And but I'm a shooter myself and a former player, and I will tell you, You put so much effort and strength into your balance in shooting a basketball that once you commit to your shooting form or pocket, or once you're midair, any movement or a touch to your hip. I know back then we used to try to just barely touch an elbow. It can throw you off. And so I think that we're in an era where referees are trying to protect jump shooters, and fans aren't particularly happy with what they're seeing.
Now, and note to that, Oklahoma is pretty much a jump shooting team for the most part. Everybody on the floor will shoot a jump shot. And I've been really frustrated watching them play because they're giving a lot of fouls that I believe is not going the same way. Like the last series they played against the Lakers, a lot of the same calls that the OKC was getting, the Lakers were getting those same calls, and it was evident. What are your thoughts on particularly that series when it comes to what the refs are doing? Or you think it's called fairly? I mean, we could probably look at the free throws and see that maybe the Lakers shot possibly more free throws, but the free throws are basically, to me, in my opinion, is like something that if you drive into the paint, you're gonna get. But if you just throwing, like with Chet Holmgren, if you could see it on a lot of these videos that they put out, he was not even hit and he fell down. There's a lot of flopping going on. So I think the fact that you getting a call at a specific time is what's really ruining the game. But your thoughts on that series when it comes to how the refs are calling that game, how they call that series, and even though the Lakers got swept, but
Yeah, I'm a victim of this quite often, because, like I said, they do change the dynamic of how you might approach a game. And so
mm,
I think because the Thunder have established a style of play and the way that they perform every night, referees get used to it. And so if you're a team that's not as physical and you come in and trying to change the way that you guard people, it's very visible. And I'll give you an example. Speaking of Kimball, they really pressure. They pick you up 94 feet,
yeah,
right? And that's something that I'm not able to do with the collection of guys that I have. We pretty much try to focus on, getting back in defensive position, getting into our half court defense. And when you try to match a team's intensity or physical play, it's not typically what you do. And so you get called for a lot of that stuff. Whereas Kimball may be pushing you, riding you up the floor, but this is the way that they play. And then when you get good coaches like Coach Smith on the sideline, man, they ride them referees, and it's a thing, man. And so I just think that the Thunder established a style of play,
mm,
and people show up and try to match their intensity or their physicalness, and it doesn't work. And I think that's why you saw San Antonio have some success with those people this year. They do the same thing. And so I just think it was that. I don't think that it's unfair. It a lot of times it doesn't make sense to the fan, but you have to think about it. Referees go in having game plans and understandings of the way that teams and coaches like to play and like the whistle to be called. And so it's consistency for them. And I think other teams are just going into series trying to adjust, and it's not working out in their favor.
facts. I'm glad you kind of broke that down because a lot of the times people feel like, I mean, in my opinion, as a former coach, the coaches they'll feed off what well the referees, my bad, will feed off what the coach brings you. Like if you always riding the ref the whole game, what the ref's gonna do? He's gonna look more so of what your player's doing than he did. I mean, they're gonna still ref the whole game, but in my opinion, what they did to me was like they'll tell me, bro, you need to calm down. You're angry because now you're getting your players looked at more than anything else because you
Sure.
bringing out that drama.
Last thing I'll say to that Thunder point, man, is let's just be honest. They're really good and they don't need any extra help. And that's really what the fans are saying right now, to be honest, right? Like, hey, bro, this is a really good team. Like, they don't need every whistle. But that's what makes them good a lot of times. So, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Boogie Bob. Has the referees impacted how teams play and how teams win games now? What are your thoughts on that same topic? And because I know, in my opinion, like I said, I feel like they do have a lot of control on how games are paced and ran. But what are your thoughts on that, Boogie?
Well, I took some notes while Coach Mason was talking, and a lot of things I didn't have in my preparation for the run sheet. But Vince Lombardi said in the '60s, if you weren't good enough to overcome the elements of the game and the referees, then you didn't deserve to win. So, fans want to blame, you know, uh, game five, Miami in 2006 against uh, Dallas.
Yeah. Hey,
They
see
shot
now.
50 free throws in that, and the Mavs only shot 10. So,
Yeah, you're
you hear a
snatching my
lot of
heart
players
out now,
like
Bob.
call it both ways, and you might see a game where there's one team has 20 20 fouls called and the other one only maybe 5 or 6, and at the end of the game, they even it up, and like, okay, if you're going to call that on one end, then call it on the other end and not so one-sided. That's the only time I, as a coach, used to get upset. But why Coach Mason was talking, I remembered, and we said this a few weeks ago, no blood, no foul. Yeah, you remember that. So, that
Correct.
was very, very physical, And speaking of which, you were talking about reputation, and I used to say, the Dallas early 2000s, they were considered a soft team, and I'm like, if you looked at the Pistons didn't get those calls because very early in the season they might have a lot of calls, but till the
Sure.
referee got used to the play, so they established a reputation of that kind of play, and the referees, it's like I don't think, the speed is the higher up you are, the more slower the game looks to you. But when you get on that court, it's a very fast game. And those referees don't have subs. They don't have a bench to come in and give them a breather. And running up and down that court, they gotta go 94 feet all the time. And so, and the only time they get a break is when there's a review or there's a timeout for the TV. So, the referees being in position has a lot to do with it. There's Leon Wood was a referee as a former player. Uh, so being in position, and someone told me, said, well, they don't call that because the referees are looking at the defender, not the offensive guy. That's
Hmm.
why it used to be if either player got an advantage, offense or defense, then it was a foul. But that doesn't apply anymore because if the offensive guy bumps your shoulder into it so you can get a layup, they're watching the defender. They're not watching for the offensive player.
Sure.
James Harden perfected every time he went to the rim, like he jerked his
Yeah.
head back like he's getting hit. Ginobili, it's been there. The arm bar no longer allowed. The hand check, that's Derek Harper. So you can go on, but Coach Mason, you're talking about just barely touching the elbow. I would do this because it get in the mind of if there was a jump shooter and a good jump shooter, I just poke him in the belly button.
Poke him in the belly button. That's another one of those. Yep.
And he like, that's a foul. You can't do that. I'm like, okay, go ahead and take a free throw. The next time he
Right.
went to hit a jump shot, he's like, because he didn't know if you're gonna poke him in the belly or not.
And let me ask
Yeah.
you, how many times did you get called for that?
Less than half.
Less than half the time. It's like
Yeah,
I said, man. It's
yeah.
gamesmanship, and
I I
it
like
goes on.
I like to say, when it's plays like that happen in the NBA or even when I watch in high school, I say, and the Oscar goes to, uh,
I'm gonna
and
tell you, man. One thing about this game, people don't. It is the game, man. Good offense beats good defense. I don't think people understand that. You're already at a disadvantage defensively.
But
It is
yeah,
what it
in
is.
hockey, we had a rule our coach just drilled us in the head. I played with it for him 3 years. It's like, make the defender commit. You know where you want to go, but once the defender commits leaning one way or another in hockey and the same in basketball, Dwayne Wade was a master at getting the defender off balance, not out of
Correct.
position. He would just get a shoulder fake or a head fake or a dribble fake or in and out dribble just to get him off balance. And he used that
Right.
uh, to get
Correct.
to get a shot. So, and the old running joke, NBA stands for nothing but all stars get the call. Uh, so, and I mentioned there the speed of the game and the spread of it. Yeah, yeah, 90 the average score, the points, the it's like it's been going up. Like Golden State set the record a few years ago at 116 per 100 possessions.
Mm,
Uh, Typically, there's about roughly 90 shots, give or take 5 on either team
Yep.
in every game. And that hadn't changed. The percentages have changed. Uh, those were just the things I wrote down while you were talking, Coach Mason. So you spurred all those. What I had in my notes to begin with was that there was a Dallas Morning News article. It's going to get publicity because it's LeBron and it's because it's the Lakers. The TV and the league want the Lakers to be in there as long as possible because they make more money. That's just plain Tiger Woods golf. Do you want Tiger Woods golfing? Because it's money, it's eyeballs. Uh,
Sure.
but the morning news actually had an article yesterday, and it said they were asking the referee said that statistically that there's up to 16% more calls in the playoffs than there is in the regular season. And that's this year. And it said that was not appreciably higher than any of the other years, that it normally is anywhere from 10 to 15% more calls in the playoffs. And
Playoffs.
anybody that's watched NBA knows that it becomes a half court game and a lot slower. So run and gun teams, the Showtime Lakers, one of the few that busted that rule, but it's pretty much a half court game.
Sure.
And when you're playing a 7-game series, you know the other players' habits, you know the other team's habits, you know their plays, you can probably call their plays for them. But the intensity and what's at stake is so high. This is what was in the article, that the intensity goes up. So if tempers flare and people aren't exposed. You can't call 82 games in a regular season that way. But in a 7-game series, you're going to call that. So people are
Correct.
griping because there's more at stake. So they're going to call those. Uh, but the increase in foul calls in the playoffs versus the regular season, it's in the historical range. And they review the tapes. So as you go through each round, the referees that score the lowest don't get the referee the next round. And
mm,
if you notice, they're always talking about when it comes to the NBA finals, you listen to Mike Breen, they're like, it was McCutcheon that they interviewed for this. There's certain referees, you see him in all the NBA finals. Oh, he's refereeing his first NBA finals, and he's like the side judge or line judge. But the head referee is like, this is his 24th finals. It's like, so each level, first round, second round, Western Eastern Conference finals, there's a weeding out of the coaches and the referees. So the ones that don't have that high efficiency don't make the next round. So I don't know whether a lot of people want to give him credit. I think maybe he drew more attention to it, but Mark Cuban, for all of his bluster and all of his fines, he's like, we got to get this reviewed. We need eyeballs on it. The 2-minute report, all of those things came out of the fact that he griped about it. Uh,
mm.
did he directly impact the way the referee? I don't, who's to say? But I mean, he definitely influenced the fact that, how they get chosen. Um,
Sure.
I'm going to ask Coach Mason, does the same thing happen in high school as you go through district by district and regional? Do the referees start? Uh,
Oh yeah, no doubt. Versus like a typical Tuesday, Friday night game. Yes. And I honestly too, they know the team, they are aware of the teams that are playing. So it might not be it might still be a high stakes game, although be it regular season, right? So like if you had on those two coaches, like a Carter Kimball game on a Tuesday or Friday night in district play is going to receive a different type of whistle than it would if either of those teams were playing North Dallas on a Tuesday or Friday night. So yeah, it only heightens come playoff time. Those whistles get a lot more strict. They get a lot more quick, and you also see mechanics um, get a lot tighter. You see a little more conversation with referees and coaches taking place during that time as well. But like I said, by the time you get to that level, it's pretty much elite play. And so,
You got to
yeah,
pick your battles.
that's
So,
right.
like when you're in the playoffs, in high school in the DFW, they got to agree on a neutral site to play, correct? And a
Correct.
home team. Do which coach gets to decide which referees, or do they even have any impact on which referees get to call a playoff game?
You have to negotiate that as well. You negotiate
Mm,
everything from the referees to the basketball that you're going to use. And
Yeah,
so you
Kimball's
do.
coach was saying that you might remember Big Mike. Uh, they had all of one brand, and
basketball, right?
they knew the other team didn't play with that brand, so they chose the the basketball that they didn't have.
Yeah, no, everything is negotiated and you're trying to get the upper hand. You're trying to get a gym that's closer to your home. You're trying to get a basketball, like you said, that you play with, maybe they don't. And then also, too, there's chapters out here of officials.
Mm.
And so, yeah, if you're playing a Dallas school, they're gonna want probably some Dallas chapter referees that they have good relationships with.
You mean
So not
they don't send you the Carrollton Farmers Branch Rec League referees?
not doing that at all. But but like I said, man, they it's interesting. I actually haven't gotten my chance to negotiate. I feel like this will be the year that we get a chance to do such. And so hopefully we're coming back on this pod next year and I'm telling you exactly how it went and how we ended up choosing what chapter of referees that we ended up choosing. But
So are you
I
going to
had
choose Wilson or are you going to choose Spalding?
we play with Badens. And so hopefully we play with Badens. But if it's me as a player, me personally, I'm gonna play with a Wilson.
Already. Coach Mason, I want to ask you a question, and this is for the next subject. Have you had a chance, and you may have, visit Madison Square Garden?
I have. Unfortunately, I haven't been inside of Madison Square Garden.
Dang.
Um, yeah, I know. Dang, I need to go back. That gives me a reason to go back. But yeah, there was nothing going on during the time that I went. And so I have a photo outside of MSG, but I've never actually stepped foot inside of there. Been under the train in the train station underneath Madison Square, but never in the building. Why? Why is that? Why are you asking?
Well, so back May 10, you probably wasn't born then, in 1973, Walt Frazier and Willis Reed defeated the Los Angeles Lakers, and this is the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and that's the first champion. Well, I don't think that's the first, but that was their NBA championship was won by the Knicks that year. So now we bring it to current time. Do you think the Knicks, they're playing hella good right now? I mean, they've been blowing teams out and lately, just crazy. Do they have a chance to make the finals, let alone win it?
Uh, Winning is tough, man. OKC is still alive, and
Wait a minute. Spurs, man. I'm still rooting for the Spurs.
we're we're I think a lot of us are rooting for that the Spurs are our only hope. Let's just
Yeah.
say what it is, man. I don't think that there's anybody else in the NBA. Although be it, I think it'd be a good matchup for the finals. I think OKC is just incredible,
Yeah.
and so much so they may be boring to a lot of people to watch. But they're really, really good, man. And I don't know that anybody in the Eastern Conference could beat them. So yeah, we are. Wimby is our only hope to kind of knock these people off. But I do also think it's going to be hard to beat those people 8 times in one season. You know,
Mm.
they've already beaten them quite a bit of time. So, but I do actually, and I know I probably sound crazy because this is the Knicks, but I do actually. I think that with the teams remaining,
Hmm.
just Detroit and Cleveland, right? Um, I think same thing. Cleveland, I mean, Detroit had their number in the regular season. I think they Detroit came in with the mindset and kind of I don't want to say they built a team to try to beat New York, but I do think that they just matched up well with them. Um, but man, Detroit is potentially going to go into their second 7 game series,
Mm.
and their second best player isn't playing well right now, right? Jalen
It's
Duran.
Tom. Well, I
And
thought Thompson was the second best player. Jaden Duran is pretty good, but
I mean, he's an
Sorry
all-star this
Thompson.
year. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. All-star this year. And but he's having a pretty horrid, I would say, playoffs, not even just a second round.
yeah,
And
because those two
Detroit,
centers for Cleveland is really getting in his head.
oh man, they're a load though, and they're offsetting those two guys too. Like it's a lot to deal with. And Jalen Duren is still very young and really, really good. And I hope that this doesn't really, I know what I'm saying isn't going to matter, but I hope his play doesn't impact his money because he is a free agent at the end of the season. And
Mm.
he bet on himself. He could have already signed an extension, but he declined. And so and had an all-star year. And so, but this is the time you want to be playing great, right? And he's kind of struggling right now. And I have a friend I play with, and he'll just say, "Man, it happens," and it does. But man, you just hate to see it happen right now. And so, with that being the case with Detroit, and then they already struggle with having like a secondary scorer. So the
Mm.
fact that he's not playing well, thank goodness for Tobias Harris, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
stepping up, playing well in the last series. But yeah, I do, man, I do. And if it's hard for me right now to make a case for Cleveland because James Harden is on that team, and and I love James Harden, by the way. But we do know that at times I feel as though I'm not gonna be like that, Boogie. I try not to get into the media space and thrash players, but I would just say that there's a style of play I think that he should play that's a recipe for success. And that is play off the ball for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, play ISO, man, because you really are a really good ISO player. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the formula for Cleveland. But will a particular player get out of his own way essentially? And even if they do move on, I think that New York still just matches up really well with Cleveland. I watched them play a couple of times in the regular season, and I just think that New York has some advantages in areas where Cleveland just doesn't have an answer for.
So you think Carl Anthony Towns finally solidified his position in Cleveland? Because in the beginning, there's been spurts where he's not been playing very well, and then there's spurts he's playing very well. But now, do you think he's now consistent as far as his play when it comes to the playoffs? And how does he really? I mean, because Jalen Brunson really showed up now. I mean, like golly, I hate we lost him through free agency, but what does Cat bring to this team?
Can we talk about that? But can you tell us about that, Boogie Bob? Like before, I mean, at some point we got to address that. I mean, my goodness,
That's the
losing
elephant in the
JB was
room.
crazy. Oh my gosh! But
No,
anyway,
it, this is a game I play in. When someone wins, we always like that's how fast you can hit the button, and when they win, we say rigged. And like New York Knicks hired his dad to be a GM, and
Rick
his
Brunson.
agent became the president of basketball operations, and his son became his agent. That's a
So
lot of family.
it was inevitable,
That's a
essentially, is
lot
what
of
you're saying.
family pull right there.
No, that's
Agent
fair.
and the son and his dad on the coaching staff with Thibodeau.
Yeah.
And then,
Th-
you know, they tried to be cheap and he wasn't starting. He hadn't really showed, but there was an injury. So he started playing next to Dinwiddie. And then he never relinquished the starting role. And
Mhm.
then he carried them in that first round, helped them win and finally get over the Clippers. They hadn't been able to beat the Clippers.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
by that time, he had already, uh, the Mavericks could have signed him. That there's some particulars, and I think they learned their lesson. He Since he was a second round picks don't have necessarily guaranteed contracts, but you
Correct.
can sign them. The way it works is you can sign them to a 4-year contract, guaranteed, or you can sign him to a 3+1. Everybody is like, well, what's the difference? Well, a 3+1 makes them the restricted free agent, which gives you the ability to match any offer. And then
Correct.
until their 6-year, their third contract, until they become unrestricted. When they sign a straight 4-year contract that's guaranteed, they become unrestricted in the 5th year. So
Correct.
the team drafting them does not get
An opportunity
they
to
don't get the
match.
privileges. Yeah, they can't match a salary,
Correct.
they can't poison pill, they don't have bird rights, so they have no negotiation leverage. The only
Correct.
leverage they have is in the beginning of that 4th year, they had up until a period before the trade deadline, I think in like December. So people, and you watch for that. Smart GMs watch for that, where players are on a 4-year contract that's in that 5th year going to be completely unrestricted. And they're like, maybe they're not having, like Najee Marshall was a free agent. We got him from New Orleans.
Yeah.
So teams are always looking for that guy that's kind of a hidden gem, and then that teams don't extend them in the December, January timeframe.
Sure.
So that was the Mavericks kind of flub there. And the rest after that, it was just kind of like that that tug family, that tug playing in Madison
Sure.
Mhm.
Square Gardens. So
Yeah. And I was gonna
Man.
go bring it back to you, Coach Mason. I still have that question about Cat
Carl
Williams.
Anthony
How
Town.
does
No, I'm
he?
I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here with you. I'm still there. Um, yeah, no, I like him playing better, sure. Is this a change for him for his future play is yet to be seen. But I will say in this current construct of this team, they have found some success with him being a hub rather
Mhm.
than being a pick and roll guy essentially, or even a pick and pop guy. Like now they're playing through him, and that changes the dynamic of everything you do offensively because now you're not creating action off the bounce. So like when Jalen Brunson has the ball, and it's something I tell my guys all the time, man. If you're in a triple threat and your eyes are up, you're looking for actions. Well, that ain't JB, man. JB is an action guy by putting the ball on the deck. And when you put the ball on the floor, that means you're creating action off the dribble. And
Yeah.
he's one of the best in the world at doing it. And so, what do you do if you're a coach when you're like, man, my best player is successful by playing this way? It's pick and roll, it's ball on the floor. We're winning games, but I think it ran its course once you get into playoff basketball. Like Boogie Bob said, the game slows down, it becomes a half court game. And the fact that you have a stretch five that Carl Anthony Towns is one of the best shooting big men we've seen. And I know we hate when people kind of give themselves the self moniker of like best shooter ever, but like truth be told, man, that guy can really flat out shoot the ball. And I mean, off the catch, off the triple threat. I mean, he can flat out shoot it. And so with him being your hub, it creates a lot of space for guys. And then they've got other guys that are knockdown shooters from the corner. They've got great cutters. And they've got guys that play off 2 feet in the paint. So just touching paint from Mikal Bridges and raising up over people or
Yeah.
catching a ball off of a curl from pin down action. I mean, that stuff is there now with the ball being in somebody's hands that can shot fake, put it on the deck, and you're forced to bring bigs out now with the defensive rules, legal defense. A big can't hang out down low, and if you do, he'll kill you anyway. So
Yeah.
they found something there with him as a hub. Is this something that they'll do continuously like throughout his career? That I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But with this team, this construct, I think they found success with it in the playoffs, and why not roll with it? I mean, would they just come out of a sweep essentially? And
Mhm.
man, they're playing awesome, and he's a big part of the reason why.
So I got one last question for you, and I'll move it over to Boogie Bob. The fact that Jalen Brunson has two of his college players, teammates playing with him, he had 3. It was 4 of them, but then one went to Minnesota.
Dante, yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. It would be. I don't know what team has had 3 players that went to college together and eventually make the NBA finals. That'll be something to really talk about if they make it to that stage. What are your thoughts on if the Villanova 3 now make it to the NBA finals?
Well, first of all, man, shout out to Jay Wright and his recruiting and some of those guys, man. These guys aren't 5 stars, right? We're talking about guys that were developed in a system. And ultimately, we call Villanova 2 Feet University. And they just know how to play. They know how to play together. They know the way the game's supposed to be played. So yeah, I think it would be unprecedented because it's not just guys that played in college together. These are guys that won in college together.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on.
Right.
So like, yeah, for 3 of them, it just only seems right. I wish Dante was still part of the team, but I do understand he was
Yeah.
part of the cat deal was the only way to make it work. But
And he's
no,
out with
it,
an
it
Achilles.
hate it for him, man, because that guy can
Yeah.
really play as well. But he's a champion already. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that. Right? He's an NBA champ. He won with the Bucks, I believe. Um,
Yeah, I think he was on the Bucks team that
he was
won.
on that Bucks team that won, man, and actually was in rotation. So you know,
Oh yeah,
uh,
he was.
uh,
I'm now remembering.
Dante's a tough guy, man. So if he did see this pod, you know, shout out to him, man, and quick recovery to him. But he's already definitely a champion. But it would be unprecedented for me. I've never seen that where you
Yeah.
have some guys in college that win, like Boogie said, not one but 2 national titles, and then to come here and have success at the NBA level, essentially by doing a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? They're just fundamentally sound basketball players who understand you need everybody on the team to be successful. And what I mean by that is you need guys to set screens, you need guys to leak out, you need guys to get rebounds, you need guys to be in triple threat to make plays for you. So it's just a lot that goes into it, man. But it would be unprecedented, and I think it'd be a story of its own. Something Amazon Prime might want to make a documentary about or something, man. But no, it would be crazy to see. But no, those guys are. I wouldn't even say it would be a trend that could be set, especially with the way college is now.
Mhm.
I don't know that we'll ever see it again.
Yeah, the only other teammates I can think of that won championships together was Elijah One and Clyde Drexler, if I'm not mistaken.
But they didn't win in college, I don't believe,
But yeah, they lost twice in the finals.
in the finals.
Yeah,
Dang.
NC State and Georgetown, but they did
But
win.
I
They
But I
won
do get what
one.
you're saying. They're winners, right? Like
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
because you lose in the final doesn't make you a loser. I'm just saying to actually win the title and then come to the NBA. But I think that's a story too that people don't talk about much. You get to the national title game twice, you lose. I think both times they were the favorite, but you lose, and then but you end up capturing in the NBA. That's a cool story as well. But this story with the Villanova boys, I
yeah,
mean, and too, like geographically on the map versus where Villanova is, like those guys have played in the Garden. This Big East basketball that they were a part
yeah,
of. So,
yeah.
um,
The only thing that'd be better that for those that don't know, Villanova's in on the outskirts of Philly. If they were 76ers instead of Knicks,
76ers, correct. No, that's right. That's very right.
All right,
And it would
Boogie
be cool
Boogie.
if I ain't trying to kick Mike Brown out of his spot, but that would have been cool too, man. If Jay Wright was just on the staff somewhere, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Boogie Bob. Will the Knicks make the NBA finals this season?
well, last week I said the Pistons, and I'm gonna stick with my position. Sorry for the dark. Looked like we have power outage or something that just came through. But
Dang.
well, at least my internet kicked in
At
on
least your
5G.
Wi-Fi is still running. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Wi-Fi. I don't think what that may be Wi-Fi, but I think it's just running 5G. But I don't have them. I don't have them. I said last week I think they may make Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't
Mhm.
think they make the NBA Finals.
And
And I said a lot about this last week with the Knicks.
mhm.
The Pistons and the Cavs kind of give them a matchup, but that's a dogfight there. Um, Coach Mason kind of hit on this. Cat is just inconsistent, and even in your question, he's up, he's down, and I like what Coach Mason said. He's not a pick and roll. You're not even a Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki pick and pop, but they've been using him more like they run the plays for Joker. That style of when you talk about a hub is to throw it in, and you
Or
know,
poor like a Sabonis too, because Mike Brown had Sabonis and they kind of
yeah,
played
yeah,
similarly.
like some Sabonis, and that's actually that's very smart because he may have won Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert may have won Defensive Player of the Year, but it's pretty easy to expose Rudy Gobert. You pull him outside, he can't cover a guard. You pull him outside with a big, he can't cover. The fact that they got by Denver was kind of like what? But
Seriously.
you're seeing Minnesota being exposed and Rudy Gobert being exposed now. Uh,
Oh,
and so
man.
uh, that style of play. Thibodeau's defensive coach, and he was a very good coach. I think he actually coached Oklahoma City too, along with Donovan before Dagnall came on. Uh, but Mike Brown, he was in Cleveland when LeBron was there. He was I think he was on the Lakers staff for a while. Then he was obviously Sacramento's coach. So he he's very adaptive. I was talking about that last week with Jason Kidd not being very adaptive. He wants to run just his system. Uh, so the between Cat not being consistent and there's no consistent second score, you have to pull the rabbit out of the hat like um, Carlisle does. Where you instead of having two players that score 25 or more a game or 20 a game, you have 6, 7 players scoring 10 to 12 a game. But the other guys are not as. Mikal Bridges was on that Phoenix team that was up 2-0 that lost to the Bucks,
hmm
and he was third fiddle on that with Chris Paul and Booker. So he if he could average a consistent 15, uh, great. But these you score 30 and then you score 2 and then you score 20 and then you score 4. You can't have that in the playoffs. You got to have as a coach, you got to have that consistency. And the further you get in the playoffs, the more that pressure becomes. And so they're going to take away your primary scorer. If you don't have that second and third guy or a system that can allow the scoring to be spread out, then the further you get, the more you get toasted. And if Denver gets by Cleveland and Dern starts catching on fire, then no, Cat can't guard him.
You talking about Detroit? You said Denver.
Yeah, yeah. If I said Denver, yeah, Detroit. I mean, Jalen Duren catches fire and they get to the next round. New York doesn't have a guy that can guard him.
What about
They don't.
OG Anunoby?
Too small.
Too little. Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
small. Like
But he is
look.
but he is on the other side a weapon. And so are guys like Deuce McBride. I kind of like what Boogie Bob was saying. You might have to get scoring from everyone, but I think they
Mm.
do. I think they're deep because Landry Shamet came in last series and gave them good minutes,
Mm.
man. And
Yeah, and
they're
I mean they traded. Think about all the pieces they traded with Bridges, not just the draft picks, but they traded uh, several players. Wasn't OG with New York Knicks and uh, the guy that the Mavs traded, Quentin Grimes, was with them. You
Yeah,
know
I
they
love Grimes. I miss that dude, man. He was
they
a baller.
the
he played well with the Mavs.
Yeah.
the bench, the New York bench is just you got to have a bench that you can count on, and especially the further you get, because other teams are going to scheme to take your best player away. Doesn't mean your best player won't still score, but they're going to have to work a lot harder and take a lot more shots to get there. So I
I
just
think they've been better, Boog. I think they've been better. How about like the Knicks bench has been
I,
a large reason for the
I think it
sweep.
was a matchup. There's just
Gotcha.
some teams when you match up, you score a lot of points against. And
Gotcha.
and I think because in the first round they weren't cooking. Everybody's like, well, they're cooking now. Sometimes it's just a matchup.
True.
So I if they sneak in, then I'll say this: if the Knicks make the finals, then they get swept. Whether it's the Spurs or the Thunder, they'll get swept.
Now you know they did beat the Spurs in the in season tournament.
But so,
And
so so it leads me to this point. You took the bait, Coach Mason. The only ring New York's going to get this year was called the Emeritus Cup.
hey man, I respect it because you know, they to me, I don't know what Vegas has the odds as, but I think that they're probably of the teams left in the Eastern Conference, probably they have the best odds to win. So I respect what Boogie Bob is doing and taking the side of them not making the finals. It's a bold prediction.
Gotcha. And speaking of finals continuously, what about Minnesota? What do they need? And this is for you, Coach Mason. What does Minnesota need to ultimately win a championship? Because they have Ant-Man. Ant-Man coming back off that injury. He's looking pretty decent, but I feel like they're still missing something. I mean, I don't know if what they have now is going to help. They do very good defensive team, and with good Rudy Gobert, as we mentioned earlier, playing his best ball for Minnesota. But I don't see what else they could get to make them a better championship, team. Because when they played Dallas that time, Dallas pretty much put them out in 5 games. You know what I mean? And it was no competition really. And we ended up losing to Boston. We ain't gonna talk about that, but what does Minnesota need team wise, maybe even coaching wise, to win a championship, Coach Mason?
Yeah, this is going to be our quickest segment because the answer is pretty legit. Listen, they've done a really, really, really good job with their roster over the last few years. They pretty much have had two different um, regimes of this team, right?
Mhm.
With the Carl Anthony Towns version with Ant, and then now the Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle version. And I thought that both of those teams overachieved essentially, and essentially made Western Conference Finals runs, and even beat. This is back-to-back years where I thought Denver was going to beat these people in the playoffs, and
Mm.
they couldn't, man. So to be honest with you, my notes say, man, they just need to find another window because right now I think they're just running into a juggernaut. Kind of how teams were with Golden State a few years back, where it didn't really matter what product you put out there. Man, those guys were just too good. And so yeah, I did. I thought the Desumu pickup was amazing. I thought the Dante DiVincenzo injury really hurt them. I thought
Hmm.
them bringing back Mike Conley was really good for their locker room. I thought the ascension of Jaden McDaniels helped them a lot. I thought that
Yeah.
I thought that Julius Randle played within the concept of the team. I felt like this was Rudy Gobert's best and most impressive year with the Timberwolves this year. I mean, they pretty much did everything you could do, and then you still have Anthony Edwards there to kind of take you home, but he was injury riddled down the stretch of the
Yeah.
season. So no, when I looked at what can they man, can they go get Giannis, man? Can they do this? When I looked at trying to answer this question, it was just like, man, at this point, you're taking an older group and you're trying to bring in and build young pieces in along the way, and it's just really difficult to do. I don't know that we've seen too many do that. You'd have to take one of the Mavericks teams, right? It's just very rare. Even that year the Mavericks had that run with all those older guys, Tyson Chandler, Jason Terry. I mean, it just was, and you see, they couldn't even bring that team back. So um, I don't really know what they could do personnel wise. I'm hearing a lot of guys say, "Oh man, well go out and go get you a point guard. They could use John Moran. They could go, but I just
But see, John Morant don't play the traditional point guard position, and you just read my mind because they
correct."
only have two point guards on the roster, Bones Highlands and Mike Conley.
The thing about it is though, when I looked at that point guard situation, I'm gonna tell you, man, Oklahoma City is extremely lucky. I mean, they're blessed in a way that nobody else is. In that, like, Shea Gilgeous Alexander is a point guard. He is a natural point guard, but he turned himself into the most lethal two guard in the NBA. So ultimately, like, he is how they talk about like two-way guys. He is the ultimate combo guard. He's six
Swiss
five. He
Army
got
knife.
that man is he's 6'5", 6'6". He can guard anywhere from 1 to 3. He can run your set if you need to. He can go get you buckets if you need. He just is those guys, those guys just don't exist. And so, like, if you, what type of point guard, like you said, okay, well, you go get John Morant. Well, guess what? He's pretty ball dominant, right? And
Yeah,
but all of their other guys are best with the ball in their hand. Julius Randle
yeah,
is a point forward, essentially. He
yeah.
needs the ball.
North
Jaden
Texas native.
McDaniels' ascension is the same way. He needs the ball. Even when Dante's healthy, he can run some point, but he really is an off ball catch and shoot guy at this point.
Yeah.
We saw Io, he's a bucket and can score. Terrence Shannon can. They've got enough guys. So I don't really know what player you could subtract or add. I just think that sometimes luck has to be on your side. I do think that they've gone through those growing pains of like what New York went through last year. I do think their time will come, but they're just gonna have to find another window. Maybe you look at like when Ann is 28. I think what is he, 25 now, maybe 24, 25. You've got to rebuild this roster from scratch almost. I would say keep your 2, 3 guys that you want to build around. I would say right now it's Ant and McDaniels.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I don't know. But that's why I said this is gonna be a quick segment, man. I really honestly can't I can't name a personnel move that's gonna help them.
So with the surgeons of Jaden McDaniel and Nas Reed's he's always been consistent. Those two I say would be the mainstays that stay with Minnesota. But in my opinion, I feel like there's got to be more off the bench that they don't have because that's what's killing them, in my opinion. I think if they had a solid bench, kind of like what Dallas had, well, when Luka was here, had a solid bench. And just imagine if they would have never traded Luka and still had Klay Thompson playing like Klay Thompson's playing right now, I could see Minnesota building a bench. You know what I mean? That's what I think is really killing Minnesota is they don't really have a solid bench.
No, I agree with that opinion. I actually, again, they improved their bench this year. Again, Dante and Io are bench guys, and Nav Reed, a great name that I didn't mention, right? Like bench guy. I thought they got 30 almost in the game from Terrence Shannon off the bench this year. Um, so yeah, when I looked at their team as a whole, I just felt it was a team that ran into bad luck of just being in the Western Conference with two other teams that are overly talented. And the rest of those guys are no slouch either with, the Lakers and the Nuggets. I mean, it just is a gauntlet over there. But
Western Conference, you're right.
I don't think that it's a slight at all at Minnesota. I think they've done a good job of staying relevant. Like I said, what are we talking about here? Two back-to-back Western Conference finals. That means they've been in the Final Four back-to-back years. And then the year before that, they got beat by the team that went to the finals in the Mavericks. So
Mhm.
they're knocking on the door. But I think it was a great question. I hate that I don't have an answer. But Boogie was excited about when I talked about the point guard play. So maybe he has a play. Maybe he has a play for us that could help them. Do you have a player in mind, Boogie?
Yeah, Boogie, your thoughts, man. What does Minnesota need?
Uh, yeah, right on the nose. My first bullet point. And Mike Conley was great at Memphis, and
Sure.
maybe when he first got it was Utah, Denver. He played for a year or two, and then went to Minnesota. And I like Mike Conley's game, but too old, too slow.
Sure.
But you, I've always been a firm believer all the way back to the '80s. Big man gets you to the finals, but point guards win the finals. And you look at the Laker teams; they always had, even outside of Kobe, you had your Derek Fishers, your Byron Scotts, your Michael Coopers. You always had that other point guard that could come in. And Oklahoma, as Coach Mason said, Oklahoma City's got Casey Wallace. They got him at shooting guard, but he played point guard at Richardson.
Best
Uh,
pick and roll basketball player in college basketball when he was coming out, by the way.
and they traded Josh Giddey for another guy who's really underrated, and Caruso. Caruso is the modern Drew Holiday. Great
Also
defender.
played point guard in high school and college at an elite level.
Yeah. He can defend like crazy, and he can score if you leave him alone or don't leave him alone. Don't pay attention to him. Like that's two solid point guards outside of SGA that Oklahoma City can throw at you. And the reason the Spurs give them trouble is they got Castle, Fox, and Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper been killing it lately.
So Minnesota doesn't have that. And that so no point guard was the my first point. The other is they do not have a great on the ball perimeter defender. Boston was able,
Jaden Daniels is that?
he's good. He's not great. Luka tore him up. He said, "I'm going to stop Luka." He like Luka, like I just make you switch. I got Rudy. Let me eat.
Before you
When I
go
talk
to
about
another point, Boogie, do you have a player in mind at the point guard position for Minnesota? Like someone where you were like, I think this will be a perfect fit for them.
well, I do. They actually thought the point guard that they traded draft picks was San Antonio was going to fill that role.
Gotcha.
It had come
Didn't
to me
work
in a
out.
minute. I had
Rob
a point guard in
Dillingham.
mind.
Is that what you were talking about when you were saying they made a trade a couple of
Rob
years ago?
Dillingham?
It was
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same one, Reed Shepherd, but it was the same year as the Spurs took Castle and they had another lottery pick, and they Minnesota traded to get that guard, and they traded him away. And Kobe White became available.
I
But
like Kobe White.
but
He would be good at Minnesota, in my opinion.
he would be good. The other guy, low on the radar. The Clippers got the 5th pick in the draft this year, and it's a point guard draft. If I'm Minnesota, I'm like, what do you want for Darius Garland?
I actually like
He,
that, Boogie Bob. No, that's a great answer.
he's not he can be ball dominant, but he's not. He
He's
does not want to
actually
run the
kind of
offense.
similar to what they have in Mike Conley, but just a younger
Yeah, but a
version.
lot younger.
Yeah.
Like 27, 28. But so you got someone that can grow with that man. But when I'm talking about a great
And that
perimeter
man's
defender,
24 years old, by the way. So
He's a baby.
yeah.
yeah.
When I'm talking about a great perimeter defender, I'm talking about like Drew Holiday and all, where they can shut down the other. Instead of scoring 30, 35 a game, they're scoring 28, 25, 28, and they're working their butt off to get the 25, 28.
And
Why not Drew Holiday?
and that
Yeah, Drew
I like
Holiday,
that,
like
Boogie.
in his late 30s now, 36, 37,
He
but
is.
yeah.
and so if
yeah.
you add another perimeter defender, Boogie, to your point,
What-
Jaylen Brown is about to be up.
Jaylen Brown is asked for trade. But think about Golden State. They had Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala that came off the bench. So that's
Right.
the other thing. Not only just the on ball defender, but they have a good wing defender. And I'm not talking necessarily a 3-and-D. But remember Bruce Bowen for the Spurs? He would
Yeah,
shut, yeah, as a wing, he would shut the guys down.
he
Uh,
was good.
their Spurs have always had that kind of guy that, you didn't think of. They're 6'4", 6'5", but they were a dog. Deshaun Stevenson was that kind of guy. They
Sure.
Minnesota, when you spread them out, that's I mean, they just don't have that. I mean, Daniels is good, but he's not the guy that you can't. He can only cover one guy. He can't cover three guys.
I like exactly what you're saying. And let me tell you this, man. Oklahoma City is going to have to let some of those guys walk. They
Mm,
can't trade them, and because they're going to be bringing assets back in. It's a money thing there. Two names that come up in that are guys you met, like Lou Dort and Casey
mm.
Wallace. Both of those guys, Oklahoma City may have to let walk. They would be, both of them would be perfect for
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, for what Minnesota
But
needs.
I'm looking at kind of the timeline now. If you're hitting the reset button, yeah, you go Case and Wallace and all that. But Darius Garland, he's in that 26, 27 age range that fits the timeline better. Uh,
Fair.
I think Minnesota's biggest problem. Okay, Ant-Man is great. We all love him. But you saw in the Olympics, he flourishes when he doesn't have to be the man.
Yeah.
And so he can to somewhat carry a team. But tell me who's the second option for Minnesota? It ain't Gobert. I mean, he might get 20, but
Julius
those run
Randle.
back.
That's the second option.
Come on now. You just led into you took the bait too. Julius Randle has regressed. He had a career year last year, signed a contract, and he had 2 or 3 great years in New York. But I think he's already hit that peak, and he's on that arc going down.
No, fair, very fair.
So
It's very
I
difficult. It's very difficult to find a way to get this team. But I do like what you guys are saying.
yeah,
Um,
but I mean, I'm talking about other than Randall, you don't have a true second answer. Right?
Yeah.
what
Randall
about Jaden
reminds me of
McDaniels moving forward to give
he
you an
could
answer
be
to?
if you got a coach to develop him. But Randall reminds me of an Elton Brand. He's a 2010 guy, but he's not a guy you're going to run your offense through or should
And
run.
aren't they playing him at power forward?
Yeah,
Who is that? Correct.
which takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Carlisle said, why don't, used basketball used to be inside out. Now it's outside in.
Yeah.
He's old school where you post up a guy, but without that pass, it takes too much off that 24-second clock to set up a good play.
Right.
He's not a great ISO. He's okay, but he's not a great ISO player. And to me, okay, I talked about his earth, but Rudy Gobert, we chant overrated, overrated. I mean, I think you posted a video on Swish for Real. Swish for Real. You post a video where Luca's just dancing, and it's like they put the Saturday Night Fever dance floor under Rudy Gobert, and he's kind of like, and then he jumps forward, and then he ain't even close to the shot.
So you do feel like there needs to be an upgrade there.
Yeah, and that's what Mike Conley's old.
But let me ask you though, Boogie, because they ultimately did. Like I think we would all agree that Carl Anthony Towns is a better player than Rudy Gobert. Yes or no?
Offensively, yes. Defensively, no.
Mm,
Now you saying all around? I would pick if I had to choose between the both of them. I'd choose Rudy because he play better defense.
Yeah, Nas Reed and did Dante DiVincenzo give him a lot off the bench. But one of the guys you like, who probably won't have a roster spot on the Mavs, you love Brandon Williams.
Yeah,
Can you
man.
imagine Brandon Williams on the Minnesota team with his speed and being able to get to the rim?
He could
Ooh,
help
but
him.
they got Bones Highlands for that. He's almost the
I
same
and I like
replica of
Bones.
him.
Bones was with Denver, but I think Brandon Williams is a faster version of Bones Highland and
Mm.
probably a better outside shooter.
And B Will been working with Kyrie, so
But
it may work.
there is
That's
a
a
rumor.
nice matchup between
Yeah.
both of those two
There
guys.
is another. There is
Yeah.
another than Darius Garland that I keep him in my back pocket here.
Yeah.
That Phoenix is because he's coming to an extension contract. Jalen Green is available from Phoenix.
And
If
he's a
he,
shell of himself, man. As soon as he got to Phoenix, he was really not what I
Really?
expected. Yeah, in my
He
opinion.
was hurt. He
Either
was
it's
hurt
the
all year.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's the injuries that I'm thinking of that
injuries,
kind of
could
made
be
him
the
regress.
system or the coach. But I'll give you a younger version of an on-ball defender that I was talking about earlier, Coach Mason. Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
He'd be
Dylan
nice there.
Brooks will get in your face like Pat Beverly did, and
Dylan
he's
the
still
villain.
young. And he was known as a scorer in college.
Amazing.
Hey,
Yeah,
Coach
So
no,
Mason, did you
he was
see
amazing in
him?
college.
Did you see him on the sidelines at that Laker game that last
At the
one?
Laker game, all
Smiling
grilled
at
up at the bottom.
LeBron?
Yeah, he's funny,
Man, that
man.
was crazy.
He's a character.
yeah, you you I don't know if you try to keep that window open. I don't know their pick situation, their cap can't be that situation can't be that good, but you know, I haven't heard any rumors about them going after Giannis, but if you had to give up Randall, DiVincenzo, and some picks, and you kept Gobert and Ant Man and Daniels, and you put Giannis on that team, now you're talking about a whole different play style, a whole different chemistry, a
Correct.
whole different flow of the ball, and you
Mhm.
got somebody who can defend.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, that sounds good. So back in, let's see, what year was that? I think it was 2003. There was this kid that came out of Akron, Ohio, who got drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and some in some corners of the universe will call him a goat. But I mean, I guess for his era, he was a GOAT. And who am I talking about? Is the most impressive player that I've seen in a long time, and that's LeBron James Sr. Coach Mason, when you finally got a chance to watch that youngster before he got into the NBA in high school, did you think he would be who he is today? Because I mean, Kobe had an impressive high school career. LeBron just took it to a level where ESPN had to put him on. What are your thoughts about the life and career of LeBron, and when you seen him in high school? Your thoughts at the time as he was progressing through that arena.
Yeah, I was thinking I should have chose a different sport. I mean, we're essentially the same age, LeBron and
Dang.
I. He's an '03 graduate. I'm an '04 graduate. And when I was on the AAU circuit, I was in some gyms that he was in, and they were packed. And he was 6'8", 240. And so, yeah, I would say that what we're seeing, did I see this? I mean, no. I mean, someone that's all time score leading history in NBA history, things of that nature, I didn't see. Someone playing 24 years, I didn't see that. But I will say that from what we've seen throughout his career from the beginning, that it all makes sense. And I think what he's invested into his body, essentially, he's kind of shown players a new way, and I think that's ultimately going to be what his legacy is. Right? I don't even think we don't even care about the numbers anymore, because I would say that when he came into the league, it seemed like every night they were making up a new stat that he was breaking. Oh, it was the
Yeah,
most triple doubles. It was the most this. It was all numbers based stuff, but the numbers back his career. But I think when we really ultimately look back at his career in totality, it'll be the longevity of greatness that defines who he is. Um, all the other stuff is just going to be semantics, and you're just playing a comparison game. And I don't really like to do it because we all have our goats already, for most of us. And like for mine, it's Michael. And
MJ.
so I really don't like the comparison because now you're just talking numbers and rings and championships. But I'm pretty sure Mike himself will tell you, like, man, this guy, he's probably better than everybody we've ever seen if we're just being honest with ourselves over the length of period of time. And I have nothing but appreciation for what he's been able to do. But no, I can't just say like, oh man, I saw this coming. I knew he would be the greatest of all time. But he's given us a lot, and he's given us a lot off the court as well. In terms of allowing us into his brain, he loves basketball, and so
Mm-hmm.
if you're a junkie, like we are, then yeah, you probably appreciate him a little more than maybe some.
Now, with him being with the Lakers for the last 8 years, has he improved in essence as far as his status as a player? You know how people like you said earlier, the greatest of all time, because he's jumped from team to team to team recently. I mean, he's won a championship in every team he's been to. Does that kind of diminish him or makes him better, being that he's been with the Lakers for the last 8 years and he only won one championship?
It only diminishes him in that comparison talk we talked about, because it's
Yeah.
one thing you could, oh well, such and such play for one team, but the reality of it is that man has three different titles in those organizations that he's played
Yeah.
for, and that's unprecedented as well. So I think he's been a trendsetter in that, and I'm a sucker for player movement in the NBA. And if LeBron was unwilling to play that player movement game, I don't know that would have witnessed what we have over the last 2 decades. I would say, where like, man, I'm waiting on free agency to hit, and it brought a different element to the game. And I joked earlier about Amazon Prime and a documentary, but I watched that ABA documentary, and we're essentially watching the ABA today. And
Mm.
so I appreciate the change. But yeah, if I'm having to debate someone over who's GOAT and why, then yeah, I'm going to use that argument versus LeBron of kind of team hopping or ring chasing or whatever the case may be. But without him, I don't know that we would have seen some of the exciting things that we have seen summer after summer after summer, or even during I mean, that man, you remember the Cleveland days where they were
Hmm.
making all the trade deadline deals, bringing in a Wally Zerbiak or Ben Wallace or
Trying
whatever
to
that
make
they
their
were doing,
team better. Yeah.
trying to make that team better. So what negative things could I utter about him? I'm sure I could find them, but it would be it just doesn't feel right. Like I said, man, I still play basketball today, and it's levels to it, man. It's levels
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
And being at his age, 41 years old currently, he's accomplished a lot. And like you said earlier, he got the scoring record for the most points scored as a player. Um, I think when he was in high school, it really brought more light to the high school realm because I didn't watch a lot of high school circuit basketball until LeBron got on board, and then the AAU circuit just kind of blew up after that because it seemed like that everybody wanted to play AAU ball because that exposure was there. So I think he was a trendsetter in that fact, bringing in that dynamic where now AAU is one of those low places where you can find some great talents. And I know, but I've been to a lot of AAU games, but in that same instance, do you think he had a great impact on how high school players are being viewed nowadays?
I mean, yes and no, but listen, man. Again, it's change, and we don't always like change, but some could argue it's changed for the better. Um, but man, going back to him in high school, he was the first player that I believe I saw play on ESPN in high school,
Mm.
and the first shot I ever seen him take was a baseline turnaround over his right shoulder. He's right-handed, and only NBA players were taking those shots, and he missed it. But it's the first shot I ever seen him take. He was posting up on the baseline left side of the floor, and he got a clear out in the ISO, and he turned and shot it over his left or his right shoulder, and I was mind boggled because he was a baby, and I had only seen pros do that. And so I knew from just him take just the willingness to take a shot like that, it's his bread and butter now in terms of getting shooting over that right shoulder. You can't stop it, but he was doing that then. And I recorded that game on VHS back
Dang.
then. So uh, yeah, he definitely changed the course for the future. Like you said, some would say for the worse, but I honestly think it's for the better. I just don't think we were ready for it. And
Yeah.
I say the same thing with like UIL and all the talent we talked about that's in this DFW.
Yeah.
I think it's just moving too fast for University Interscholastic League. These kids out here are pros, a lot of them, and we're
Mhm.
losing them to prep schools or whatever have you. But they're really good players. I mean, like Beckham Black won a state title at Duncanville as a sophomore, and I
Mhm.
mean they got up out of here. They went to Florida prep school, and but he's the number one point guard in that 2027 class, I think is what it is. But
Dang.
man, he's right from right here. But
Yeah.
remember, you saw Faye family just get out of UIL
Mhm.
altogether. I just think this stuff is moving too fast for them. Guys are getting really good at basketball. They've figured it out. Some of these guys have older guys, LeBron, they've trendsetted and said, "Hey man, get in the gym, work on your body, focus on the game. Just don't fall to any distractions. So on and so forth, man. I think they've done a great job, but it's kind of out of control. It's just kind of like how social media is at times. There's gifts and curses with it. I think it came out of nowhere. We just weren't ready.
Yeah. And I want to give this to the audience. You guys are actually, these are two NBA basketball, whatever level we're talking about, junkies, and they give you some great insight on the game. And I appreciate you, Coach Major, for that. Boogie by you too, man. So I just wanted to tell y'all, honest, y'all getting the treat right now, man. This is something deep, man. So I appreciate it.
Of course.
Boogie, as far as the LeBron James Sr. career, he's gonna hit y'all with some stats right now. So I'm just gonna give you the floor and just kind of give us LeBron in a nutshell.
Uh, I like to tell people this is like, was Emmett Smith or Barry
Barry
Sanders
Sanders.
better running back? There's no winning the argument, but it's a great argument and it's a great starter. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you're going to side with Emmett. Well, he had a
Damn it.
great line. If you were from Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, oh, Barry Sanders, he just quit early. You
Sure.
can't win the argument. Two different players, two different teams.
Right.
That's kind of the LeBron versus MJ. Uh, and I've always said LeBron's more Magic Johnson than he is MJ.
I
Kobe
agree with
was
that.
Kobe
Correct.
was more like MJ. But
Yeah, I agree with that too.
I want, before I go into a plethora, and I do mean a plethora, full 2 or 4 pages of stats for LeBron. I want to ask Coach Mason. We've got two players that went to 10 finals in their sport. One of them was football. His name was Tom Brady.
Mm,
He didn't win all 10. I think he won just 7.
7.
He lost 2 to the New York Giants.
Correct.
Eli Manning, that it was only a 500. His career record was only
Career.
500.
Correct.
But he went to 10 Super Bowls.
that's crazy.
LeBron has gone to 10 NBA finals. Yet here's the credence they give Tom Brady as far as the best of all time, but here's what they give LeBron as the best of all time.
Mm.
10 NBA final, and like you have to go back to probably the Boston Celtics or somebody like that.
Sure.
With Wilt, that like they won 10, 11 in a row or whatever.
Bill
But
Russell.
Bill Russell. But in this day and age, with three different teams to make the NBA Finals 10 times, okay, people are like, well, only won 4 of them. Michael won 6. Yeah, but he made 10.
Correct.
But he didn't get the same credit that Tom Brady gets for taking the Patriots to 10 Super
To
Bowls.
10. Correct.
But
So,
on Michael's point, though, Michael took 2 years off, though, and then when he came back, he still didn't win. So that's like 3 years that he was missing.
well, there was always conspiracy and suspicion back then. I'm old enough to have gone through that, but Michael Jordan had a gambling problem,
Yeah.
and David Stern could not have that enter the NBA. And they say, well, you go play baseball for a couple of years and then come back. Now, whether it's true or not, but I mean, that was really suspect at the time.
And then he lost his father, and people
Yeah.
kind of
Lost his
correlated the two.
father. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a story on that too.
Yeah.
So I got, I'm the stat guy. I can't cover all of them. I tried to shorten as much as I could on this. So I'll just say that right off the bat, he owns just about every record. It's just pure and simple. He just about owns every record.
Not just regular season, playoff records too.
Yeah, good point. That's coming up. So let me just throw a few of them. This is going to be a long list, so hang with me, Coach Mason.
I got you.
Scoring 40. Kareem was always like the ultimate 41,000, and Karl Malone was chasing him. Okay, I
Correct.
saw Robert Parrish play at age 42, and he could still get up and down the court. So there have been big men that played out. Scoring 43,440 points. Years played 23.
Mm.
All-Stars 22. Playoff games 302 playoff games. Playoff series 57 playoff series. Playoff scoring 8,521. Those are all
Number
one.
one.
Those are
I'm
all
about to say
first.
number one. Yep.
Number one. But that's just the highlight. But think about it. Playoff games, 302 playoff games. That at 82 games a season, that's four seasons gets you
4 more
240.
seasons.
So that's
Yeah.
almost 5 full extra seasons on those legs and arms and beating up and all that.
Not counting any summer Olympic play, none of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's got what, 2 gold rings, 3 gold rings?
3.
So I mean, those are just the ones where he's number one. So always when we get to the deep dive, so his career stats: 26.8 points a game, and he did win a couple scoring titles. 7.5 rebounds a game, 7.4 assists per
Yes.
game. Career average. Guess what his shooting percentage over his 23 years is? Just total field goal percentage.
46%.
I'm gonna guess.
It's over
I'm gonna say
50%.
52%.
Yes, it's over 50%. I think it's like
Dang.
56%. All right, Mike. So this question is for you, Big Mike.
All right, shoot.
What do you think LeBron's total career earnings is up to today?
Total career earnings, I'd say he's close to about 750 million.
531 million.
I was 200 million off. Close though.
On his way.
Yeah.
Okay, here's just a couple of awards. Rookie of the Year, 4-time MVP.
Is this
Voting share.
for real? For
real. These are the awards where you just got voting shares. MVP, 20 times he got voting shares.
Wow.
20. Most of these, he's the lead. Defensive player of the year, 9 times he got voting shares. He's made the All-Star 22 times and started those 22 times. Out of 23, 22. Defensive team, 6 times. 5 of those, he was on the first team.
First team.
All NBA team, 21 times. Coach
Come
Mason,
on.
how many times out of the 21 do you think he was first team All NBA?
Let's say 18.
13. Okay, so I'm going to bounce all of these off Coach Mason if you don't mind.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to give you this category and then you tell me, just guess where you think he ranked. Rebounds, all-time career, where does he rank? Rebounds.
Top 15.
24th.
I was going to
Okay.
say top 20, but that's still overly impressive.
Assist, yeah. Okay, assist. Where do you think he ranks in assist all time?
8.
4th.
4? Dang.
I'm close.
Steals. Steals, where do you think he ranks?
10.
I'm going to say 12 all time.
6th.
Dang.
Wow.
3-pointers made.
14th.
6th.
No
What?
way.
3-pointers attempted.
That number's got to be kind of low.
2.
No
Only Steph Curry.
way.
Only Steph Curry's taken more attempts.
Wow.
Free throws, number of free throws, not the number made, but his career percentage is 73%, by the way. But how many free throws? Where do you think he ranks as far as free throws made?
3
2.
all time.
8. 8.
Hey,
Dang.
8.
I
That
suck at
doesn't,
this.
he got hacked a
me
lot.
too.
That's the fouls that were called. That's not the fouls that weren't called.
We're close though, Mike.
Yeah,
It's still crazy. Remember, there's been like 5,000 players in the league, so
yeah.
these numbers are unreal.
Yeah, 5,000 is crazy.
Games, number of games. Where do you think he ranks?
Number
1.
one.
Number 1. Number of minutes played. Where do you think he ranks?
Number
Gotta
one.
be
Number 1. I mean, those are the major statistical categories. He's in the top 10 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those categories out of 8. He's in the top 10.
And had it not been for Russell Westbrook and Jokic, I mean, he's probably all-time triple-double list as well. Probably top 5, maybe.
Well, the funny thing is until Joker and LeBron and Russell Westbrook came along, he was in the top 5. He had a
Top
lot of
5.
triple doubles, but
He did.
or a lot of
We
those
thought at one time he may average a triple-double for his career at one point in time.
early, yeah, and that was early in his career. But he's fallen out of the top 5 as far as career triple doubles. But when you talk about longevity, Emmitt Smith has a rushing record because of longevity. Barry Sanders, awesome career, shorter. Emmitt had titles. Barry didn't. And that's why I started the conversation, Emmitt versus Barry Sanders. You got LeBron, you got Michael. So everybody's going to have their favorite. But if you're looking at just numbers, people from years ago that didn't have eyeballs or watch the game, and, even watching MJ, you mentioned VHS, some of those finals weren't even broadcast live. And you were right. The very first ESPN high school basketball game ever was LeBron James. So if
I
you're
want to
looking
say
at
they
just
played.
if you're looking at sheer numbers, 20 years from now, people that look at how many players have patterned their game after LeBron James.
Yeah.
Uh,
Steph Curry too, though. A lot of kids now.
James Harden, Luka. I mean, you've got 2 decades where he's been the kid's favorite until Steph
Hmm.
Curry came along, but he's
Yeah.
still up there.
Oh yeah,
So I always said this saying came when Kobe was playing. You can hate the player, but you got to love his talent.
Hmm.
So
right.
you may hate LeBron, but you got to appreciate his talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That high school game, do you remember who they played, Boogie Bob? I do.
I have no idea.
Oak Hill Academy, man, and Oak Hill was actually the higher ranked team that night, and they got beat.
Man, I can't believe you got that on VHS, man. Man, this has been such a great conversation, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, talking. These topics were really, really great. And we got to deep dive into the career of LeBron James. And, we talked some good basketball as far as the championships go. So hopefully,
And I'll leave you with this one. I said it at the beginning of the season. You asked me, would LeBron be his last season? And what did I tell you? The beginning of the season, I said he's going back to Cleveland for year 24. He's going to end his career in Cleveland.
that'll be interesting.
I think
Coach
he'll stay in
Mason,
LA. Yes, sir.
he need to. Coach Mason, tell the people where they can find you on these social media streets, man. See if they want to catch up with you and say hello.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm not very active. I say it all the time. I'm not very active on social for myself, but I do. I like a lot of stuff I feel like people need to hear. And
Yeah.
so I'm on Twitter at MoMace22. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. I do need to dibble and dabble more into the social media space, but I'll let Boogie Bob do that for right now, man. Tell us where you at, Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie, where can they find you on social media streets?
Down here, Boogie Bob. But more importantly, let's see that direction.
There it is. Swish
Switch
for real.
for real.
Real.
Just for
Yes,
real.
sir.
You guys, you can find me, on Swish for all the time, just chopping it up with, good people like Coach Mason. Thank you, Coach,
Oh yeah, no,
coming
you're very
on.
welcome. Thank you guys,
I'm,
man.
I'm now, like you said, social media. I was not a social media darling, but now since I'm doing these films and trying to get things started, and Coach Mason knows about the clothing brand that we're trying to get started too. So it's a lot we got going on, man. So just look out for us in the future. The next film should be done by the end of summer, so we'll have it out. But again, guys, thank y'all so much for coming on. Appreciate y'all. Swift Real, we are out, baby. Peace.
That's it, Pray. That's it.